Mean Girls is a 2024 comedy musical movie inspired by the Broadway musical of the same name, which is also inspired by the 2004 pop culture hit movie of the same title. The movie starts off with a musical act of Katie's life in Africa and her desire to return to America so she can be a normal teenager there. And at this point, most people might feel like a music number? This is a musical? And yes, it is, which caught a lot of people by surprise because it really wasn't marketed as a musical, but rather as a mere reboot of the original. Despite having its flaws, this movie also has its upsides. Some music numbers are really well choreographed and are shot beautifully, like for example, one of those music acts that stood out to me was the Halloween party one, with Regina singing while everyone else is frozen in time, except for Candy and Aaron. The movie is also able to keep some of the charm and comedy of the original one, despite not being as comedical as it could be. And as for the negatives, despite some musical numbers working, not all of them worked. I feel like some just didn't fit well and they had something missing from them. As well as the fact that despite this movie being actually longer than the original one, it feels like it doesn't have as much material or development in some parts as the original Mean Girls, even though some characters like Gretchen get explored more, which is something that I really appreciated about this movie. Overall, this movie feels shorter than the original one. And as mentioned before, the main thing for me that is missing from this movie is the extravagant and subtle humor and also the amount of comedic one-liners that the original movie had. This movie somehow feels rather tamed on it when it comes to the exaggeration of its comedy and its characters. So, overall, despite this movie having clear issues, I still found it rather enjoyable, and it felt like a nice break since we are in the middle of a war season with a sheer amount of incredible and dramatic and intense movies, to just go to the cinema and watch a more silly teenage musical.